Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's time for game number 3 here between WG.Unity and Execration in Captain's Draft 4.0 SEA Qualifiers. My name is Dragon Drop, hopping in on last minute again here to help out Gareth, whose keyboards might be working a little bit better now than it was before.
I can type in Twitch chat. I can type stuff. So the past 2 games I've had the lobby password on my clipboard because I couldn't type, so I've been Control-Ving it. And then somehow I got something else on my clipboard, so I plugged my keyboard back in. I was like, please, 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 and it let me type the password in just like for a split second, and it disappeared. And then I managed to type a couple of sentences to you, but it still occasionally just like throws me, you know, it hits the window key or it hits a function key and it just opens up some random menu somewhere. So I thought, okay, well, we don't need a keyboard for this cast. I've been getting by just using the mouse so far. But oh, there we go, just hit the Windows key again, sick, random. But yeah, we'll deal with this functionality. Do you know what hero I see immediately? It's the Arc Warden, dude.
Oh, not again.
Let's ban the Arc Warden, shall we? Oh, dude, there's also Dazzle Huskar in there. This is actually a pretty fun pool. Bloodseeker, PL, Dazzle Huskar, Undying, Weaver with very few instant disables. What else is Pugner, Arc Warden, Chen. This is the Bane. Oh, the new Bane with a damage steal. Oh, baby.
Oh, I played that the other day. It was hilarious. We still lost, but it was a lot of fun. Especially with the talent that you get, like, what, level 20? I want to say? Plus 100s damage reduction, and it's like, lasts for 20 seconds, it's an 8-second cooldown, so you can get 2 of those off at any given time, which then translates to plus 440 damage on your Bane.
That seems balanced.
Yeah.
Look, yeah. WG just removed the Arc Warden. Not dealing with that nonsense. So what okay, right. What's a first pick hero? What is a first? Night Stalker is probably still a first pick hero. IO for WG.Unity probably first pick. Maybe the Chen, maybe the Bane, we'll see. But if one of those is first picked, what's an opening duo? Bane Undying. Maybe you could think about Tusk even being thrown into the mix there as well. He's a very strong 4-role hero. But again, like Dazzle Huskar is a scary combo. Like, I would not be surprised at all to see Huskar banned at some point in one of these last bans.
Scary indeed, and once again, you also have another lineup that doesn't actually have much control up against zero like Storm Spirit. I guess depends on who the Bane, on what team the Bane ends up. If he gets picked again, other than that, all you have is silences really. Perhaps maybe RP or the Tiny.
Yeah, exactly. Even a Bane isn't particularly good against the Storm. Yeah. What else is there? You mentioned the Magnus RP. Are there any Magnus combos here? Oh, here comes the IO. Okay, so there's IO Tiny, IO PA. WG could block pick the Tiny, but even though it's one of their favorite heroes for Firo, usually it has an IO with it. So I'd be kind of surprised to see the Tiny just immediately picked. Outside of this, Winter Wyvern is probably what you go for. The only real hero that deals with IO relocates outside of that Magnus RP. So that could be their opener if they want to go down that direction.
Perhaps you can also counter Bloodseeker with a Blood Right.
Yeah, that's potential as well.
Yep.
Also, someone to gap close on the IO and just blow him up before too much nonsense happens.
Pugner, okay. Funny thing, the portrait on the left hand side actually goes dark before we can actually see the finished animation.
Yeah.
Notice that.
Imagine if they have Pugner Huskar Dazzle.
Oh.
Too bad there's no Necro.
Oh.
Pugner Huskar, dude.
Oh,
the decrep life break.
I see the video of that. It was so ridiculous. You can literally one-shot everybody.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Like Centaur with 8, like Pudge with 20k HP or something. You Veil, Aetherlens, Decrep, Life Break, Reaper Scythe, and just blow someone up. Nice! Ooh, yes, Undying is there. So I thought Bane Undying would be a good opener, but they favor the Pugner over this, and Execration are the ones to go for the Magnus into PA.
Oh yeah.
Oh, baby!
We haven't even thought about Magnus combos in terms of the Empower. But together with PA, that's actually ridiculous. Together with the IO as well. And if Magnus initiates on anybody, IO relocates in the Phantom Assassin, you empower, you start beating people down. Actually extremely powerful, but yeah, then again, the Winter Wyvern, as you said, pretty solid hero to try and deal with that.
Yeah, for sure. But now it gets a little bit more difficult for WGU. I feel like Bloodseeker is still a good option for them. Very heavily reliant on magic nuke and pressure in lanes from the first 3 heroes that they've picked. But dealing with a PA, dealing with an empowered PA, we saw how Secret run this kind of Magnus lineup over in Hamburg. It doesn't matter too much if you go behind. They went like 3 and 15 in the first 10 minutes of a game, and they still managed to come back, because if you can split push, if you can get Magnus's blink, all it takes are 2 or 3 good RPs with this empowered PA to hit that mid game and get into your stride nice and strong, and all of a sudden you become the ones in control of the map. Whereas WG very early game focused so far. So do they double down on early game and go for something like Bloodseeker, like a Zeus? Dazzle Huskar still in there, but unlikely to go for it. So it is the Bloodseeker as that gap close under the IO, decent against the PA and her maneuverability. But this is going to be a tale of 2 worlds, really. These drafts are very polarized against each other. One very early aggression laning phase focused, and then Execration pretty much RP focused. You get the PA farmed with Empower, you hit some big RPs, try and keep everyone alive with this IO moving from lane to lane, but they don't have the best self-sustaining solo heroes over in the side lanes. Magnus is going to get hit pretty hard by Bloodseeker or whoever is there, and if Execration run IO PA mid, which is definitely a possibility, they're still open to pick up maybe something a little bit more early game focused for that safe lane hero.
Also
I don't see what that is.
Yeah. Okay, the task. I was thinking more along the lines of the Warlock. Oh, they're also picking the Warlock now. Okay. I was thinking of Warlock as a support. But now with the task, I'm not really all that sure anymore about what they want to do.
Warlock coming?
Yeah, could be a mid-lock. Mid-Warlock.
Honestly, dude, I don't know. I honest. So
thought you knew everything. Come on, dude.
Apparently not. It depends, right? They have the option. They're going to wait until this final pick from WG comes out, which it needs to do so much in this game. Either you go for something like a Zeus and just try and blow people up early game with decrep lightning bolts, try and get up and running. There is only one natural BKB purchaser through the PA. Magnus, does and can go for BKB, but he would much prefer to go for mobility items. Your Force Staff, your Shadow Blade after the blink, things along those lines. But we'll see what direction they go in just a second, because they're running out of time very, very quickly.
They want to random and get that extra mango, but Stormspirit, yeah, I was wondering about that one too, still, because again, it comes down to the lockdown, and a lot of the actual stuns on the side of Execration is really bound to the ultimates, the Magnus and the Warlock in particular, and even the Tusk to some extent. So, the problem is he needs to get to the point where he has enough mana, where there's enough sustain to be able to dodge out all of that, and dodge out the damage from the Phantom Assassin in particular, because Stormspirit not necessarily known to be the tankiest hero up against physical damage like that.
Gabby, James, RR. The one thing with Execration that always confuses me is how often they change their role attribution as well. RR used to be support, then played offlane. Raging Potato has played every single role. He's played mid, offlane, support, safe lane. They give him a hero and he plays it pretty much. A similar thing can be said for James. He's played pretty much all of the core roles, but I don't think we've seen him swap back into support yet. But with IO, Raging Potato picks that one up. RR, the offlane Tusk, I assume here, and then you run Gabby and Chemo safe lane on the PA Warlock and just have this Magnus mid. But I'm unsure. Like a Stormspirit being so immobile and only really having an Undying to come and help in the early stages of the game, Arctic Burn with that long cooldown doesn't really offer you the same as an IO and a PA do with dagger spam. They still could do that duo lane mid.
Well, no matter what's going to be, probably not going to see it outside of Captain's Draft, that's for sure. Very interesting lineups. We'll see how it works out. Both of these teams won one game in the series, so this game will decide one actually wins it. WG on the Radiant side, Pharaoh, he's starting off with a magic one because of course he is.
Yeah, they're expecting the PA IO mid. So that puts James on the safe lane Magnus up against Pugna. I'm not sure how that one works out. And then I have RR offlane Tusk, so it's going to go similarly to how I expected originally. But I'm still unsure where they put this Warlock. The Warlock is still a big question mark for me. Like, do you go aggro dual lane with Warlock Tusk? Do you have the Warlock with the Magnus up at top lane to try and keep him alive against the Pugna and stack and pull occasionally? Or does Lumic just go, like, walking around, you know, trying to find a home somewhere? There's this homeless Warlock that I'm not sure exactly where he's going to plant himself in lane. We'll see, though, what they're up to. It's a bit more simple for WG, right?
Oh, yeah.
They've got Storm mid, X-Nova's going to be there with the Arctic Burn, they'll have Undying, spamming Decays. This lane pressure should be pretty nice from WG.
Oh. Eat. Halo on the park now. Looks he will stick around on the offline again. But for the Warlock, if probably just one of these cases where you go where you're needed. Not necessarily going to mid unless you want to try laying it up a little bit. Could also be a thing where you just kind of dual offlane for now. They're putting on this pressure, they're just doing the standard thing. Going to 2 bounty runes close by. And yeah, James. Velo. Wondering whether James feels comfortable enough to just go for his own bounty rune, or whether he feels like it's too dangerous. He doesn't have vision on anyone else but a WG, so might just be that Pharaoh gets to pick up both, but yeah, he's walking forward now. Is she gonna get it?
It's a little bit dangerous. Looks like it.
Little bounty.
3 bounties.
Good.
Good stuff. And they didn't give the double over to Gabby. Raging Potato. Oh, that's really nice. So your mid lane gets a bounty and your IO gets a bounty. So often we see, you know, one or the other, right? Because the IO needs that fast bottle, so the mid laner has to kind of give up the bounty rune in order to get that sustain quickly onto the IO. But this way around, you get both. So now you're gonna have a farmed Gabby and a farmed Raging Potato, taking a lot of damage immediately though. The IO has a tether back across and should be fine. But the way these lanes work out, Alphamoose just spamming decays.
Exactly. That's kind of the downside of having more than one hero in the lane up against an Undying. He's so extremely strong in the early parts of the game. Especially IO, you want to be kind of close to your friend with the tether. But it also means that Alphamoose has a very easy time getting the double DK off when he's already sitting at 16 strength stolen. Gotta be really careful.
Look at the split now. IO and PA trying to stay as far away as they possibly can, but Afromush does so much damage. 79 with the right clicks.
Not just that, but Raging Potatoes only has 380 max health, or he had for a moment there. Sometimes you feel like, oh yeah, I'm fine, I have max health. That max health is much lower than it normally is.
And then Pharaoh with 9 and 1 on this Storm Spirit, having a great time thanks to Afromush. That early game laning pressure, like we were expecting, working out in bottom lane. RR being chased by Bloodseeker.
Dropping very, very low, and Yabami should be able to finish off the skill. Maybe not Verifier Gaming helping him out, but now extra damage is still there to also bring Lumic down. Oh no, RR! What have you done?
He might have died as well. I think Bloodseeker chases. No, they're not going to dive for it.
He just straight up left his friend to die with that eye shots. I think he wanted to like thread the needle and get him inside and Jabami on the outside.
Yeah, such a difficult like skill shot to place down though with the shards.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to try and, you know, block out the Bloodseeker and block in the Warlock.
Game's dropping extremely low here, and Velo doesn't quite land the extra blast.
With those stick charges. Magnus barely scrapes away with it. Things working out for WG though. in this early stage, keeping the PA down, keeping the IO's effectiveness as limited as they possibly can, while bottom lane this Bloodseeker is just, you know, roaring away. Only 7 and 4 in the last hits, but he's kept both of these kind of aggressive heroes who want to pressure him at bay, which is, you know, overall a win in this lane.
So easy as well with Magnus being so low up on the top, just slowly walking back to base. It's such a long time. We have that extra damage to work with, but you still have to be careful with the Blood Rage. And
well, mid lane Pharaoh. I guess the stick charge is up.
Fine.
No commitment from Execration.
Lane though. Okay, there it is. Jabami is committing for it. Lumik will be first kill. Eventually an RR. Also not long for the vault either. Another Blood Rage. Doesn't even get it off. He's still being damaged by the Shadow Word, but not exactly a nuke in normal sense of the word. So they're gonna get these 2 kills down bottom.
Yep, and 4-0 now. Bot lane's a win, mid lane's a win. Radiant coming out on top. I mean, even top lane, Pugna, 14-4. James sitting just shy of that CS amount that Velo has managed to rack up for himself. So probably call that a draw up at top between the two of them. Magnus, though, his Blink Dagger, incredibly important, as well as the levels in that Empower once he gets up and running. But, you know, you've got this sub-level 4 Magnus at 4 minutes. Not really where you'd ideally want to be. It's going to be difficult for Execration, but, you know, like we were saying in the draft, we've seen Secret do very, very similar things with this Magnus and some kind of, you know, hero that can pump full of steroids with that Empower, with the IO having the overcharge. This Phantom Assassin, once she gets the supporting cast behind her, once she has a few items up her sleeve, can be the one raid boss that you can't quite bring down as WG.Unity here. So it's a matter of time, you know. We're seeing WG kind of run away with things a little bit, but once you have that Blink RP, once you have the empowered PA, suddenly you've got this kind of steroid effect to not just take team fights, but also if you want to sit back and farm the jungle, you can do that efficiently as well.
Yeah. There's also PA in particular, there's also been some insane changes to, like...
Lumik's in trouble.
Oh. He is indeed. I don't quite know what he's doing there, but...
He was warding, but they saw him. They saw him ward, so they get the kill and they get a D ward.
Yeah, seems good. But there's also been some changes to the way MKB in particular works here, which is like the one dead counter towards evasion, but now it's only 75% accuracy, so also one of these smaller things that can help you out a little bit if you're playing a hero like Phantom Assassin. Also one that I've seen in a couple of pubs that I've played, and even without too many steroids, just is able to turn things around with some quick builds and quick crits, essentially. I'll try to address him now and exploit the weaknesses. He jumps to his friend now. Gabby will be just fine for the time being. Good link together here, actually, in Pharaoh. Gotta be careful not to take too much damage here, unless Aframouche dies there.
They're chasing bottom.
Bami.
Shards in a second.
Doesn't quite catch him, but he does find the angle still. But nice, X-Nova. Coming in just in time for the Cold Embrace.
Can they turn this?
Possibly, they're all dropping kind of low, but Jabami still have too much health to work with. Is a little bit dangerous. Gonna heal up a little bit first.
I think that's a double bounty rune, which is nice. But IO, because of that early laning stage pressure from the Undying, doesn't have any items really, and hasn't been able to make any stacks for the PA to fall back on, so that's something they have to pay attention to in the coming minutes. As they play aggressively mid lane, in onto the Storm.
They want to bring down Fairy. He has quite a bit of burst damage. Aframouche drops Tombstone or try and turn this around, throws on heals, and well, there it is. Another DK on a couple of heroes. Gabby starting to drop low. RR's first one to fall. Never mind, next to the IO. They're falling apart here. They get the kill that they wanted, but at what cost? Aframouche with a double.
You killed the Storm before he hit level 6. That's amazing. Like, Execration, they came in, they got what they came for. The Storm, still level 5, does die. X-Nova might fall bottom lane, though, to the IO and Tusk, but Cold Embrace might buy some time for TPs to come in. It is just going to be the Storm Spirit who, again, doesn't have that ball lightning yet, so Wyvern Dart is But yeah, you get the kill on a Storm, losing 4 heroes for it though, not exactly what you would have wanted. Sick Tombstone, Aframoosh is there with a, you know, a 3-man decay as well, just to turn it around. Some big reactions from WG.Unity. Just have to be very wary that these, are they gonna go for more?
Looks like it here, but Snowball dodge on the Blood Rite will make it a little bit hard there, and Pharaoh dropping low on mana. So, I call it quits there. They only got Raging Potato. At the same time, up top we saw the kill on Pugna.
Yeah, Pugna dying top, and I was like, cool, that's it, right? And then the fight bottom lane kicks off. I'm like, oh, okay, they're not done. Just gonna keep on going for more. Fair enough. But yeah, Execration, sure, it's a 4-for-1 trade mid, but WG still has to be very wary that their strength lies in this period of the game. You know, early game until about 20 minutes or so, they'll keep this stride going. They'll keep amassing a lead. Bloodseeker moving into the Radiance, that's going to be very key for them. But they can't, like, it's like game 2 all over again.
Gonna get going now here. Do they have enough burst? And they, yeah, they do. Especially with the punish stuff from RR. Extra spirits from Raging Potato, so...
Oh, and Lumix survives top lane with Shadow Word healing him through the life drain.
Oh, damn.
Warlock just gets away. But it feels like WG are in a similar spot to Execration, game 2, where their early game, you know, desperately needs to work out, but at the very least, WG, they have a bit of a better out in this case. They've got Storm, and they've got Bloodseeker. Storm scales, you know, reasonably nicely into that kind of mid to late game, especially with the new item, the Kaya, right? K-A-Y-A, that nice little, you know, amp damage up onto heroes like the Storm. I'm interested to see if we see any deviations away from the normal Storm build, which, you know, is like Bloodstone. Oh,
Come on,
God.
Aframoosh here. Throws on decays, throws on heals, trying to turn things around here, especially with the heals from X-Nova. They're gonna get 1, they're gonna get 2 here.
The turnaround kings.
Undying. I love this hero for that, for that alone. Just the ability to turn things around like that. Minimal mid though. Okay, Gabby, he's just stepping out this time.
Yeah. No points in Vortex.
Yeah.
Storm isn't level 8 yet, so expected. Nice TP. But yeah, at the very least, WG have these kind of scaling cores that, like the Storm Spirit, who are going to do well as the game progresses against heroes that don't buy BKB, but also against heroes like Io, against Warlock, who are very kind of static and stationary when setting up for team fights. They aren't the ones that like to, you know, dip in behind or skirt around the edge of team fights. They're not the skirmishing heroes. They kind of throw their spells and try and keep themselves alive, basically. But Storm and Bloodseeker, with their maneuverability, should have a reasonably good time as mid lane again.
Such an easy jump here, especially against the Bloodseeker. Even if he does get the Blood Rite off earlier, it doesn't really help all that much as long as RR already has the Snowball available. We've seen it time and time again. Dodging it out, but yeah, he's... This kind of a jump, Gabby, also with the level 6 already. You have the crit potential. Not something that a Bloodseeker can really deal with at this point.
No. And these have been really nice rotations by Execration. A little bit unexpected in the kind of frequency and aggressive nature of them, with 3 heroes just appearing out of the woodwork immediately, you know, bot lane, then mid lane. They keep shifting their weight to be these big groups of heroes to find pickoffs, just to try and make sure that WG, they can't push forward and make anything out of their lead. You know, this 2k lead has been steady for quite some time, and they've only taken 1 tier 1. Velo is in deep. Okay, 2 tier 1s, but Velo might lose his life for this.
Game's linking up with him here. The crowd play RP even used. Not sure that was necessary, but it'll secure the kill. And
make damn
for
sure
Raging
he
Potato,
dies.
so he keeps singing. And yeah, I guess base graded for WG or for the core heroes. Pharaoh, he's the big one to look at, I guess. Forward, right? I mean, he's starting to work away at this orchid. Got a Bloodstone route this game, so makes sense, I guess, trying to just burst down heroes like Io, like Warlock, before they can really do anything. Even Magnus.
There are some, exactly. You know, you're hitting the nail on the head. There are some big teamfight ultis that need to be stopped at certain times in the teamfights. You know, the Blink RP, if the Storm can find James in the back lines, you can cancel that one out, cancel the Io tether relocate, even the Warlock and his ultimate, you know, stop that chaotic offering from coming into the teamfight as Aframoosh. Oh, he's caught.
So on the high grounds here, and now the Winter's Curse though in the back does a bit of damage, but now turn around from the Warlock ultimate. Aframoosh still get sealed up. They're turning things around. The zombies starting to stack up. And another storm coming through from the side. 2-4 on trade so far. Gabby trying to turn things around onto Jabami here under the tower. James. And he'll be finished off by Pharaoh instead. Meanwhile, Jabami is just kiting around. 4 for 1 trade. Again, they're going on the Undying. And they pay the price for it quite heavily.
But that was such perfect execution and perfect luck from WG. The fact that they're able to, find a fight next to this little high ground spire where the tombstone can go up on top of. There's no vision there from Execration, no observer wards. They couldn't focus the tombstone. Then the Winter's Curse is on top of 3 or 4 of them to stack up the zombies. 3-man decay again. Everything worked out, literally perfectly for WG. Any slight deviation in that, and you could maybe see Execration swing a kill on the Undying, turn it into one more, and then things get out of hand and get a little bit messy. Because Execration, they're no slouches anymore. They've got this PA up to level 9, doing a decent amount of damage, but it's the Blink RP on James that's ready now. So with Winter's Curse, I guess it's off cooldown already. Never mind. I was going to say with Winter's Curse on cooldown, maybe go and make a play, but the Radiant are ready to fight again immediately. It's ridiculous.
They can constantly fight, and they can also constantly push with the Pugna on their team. That's the thing, right? To win a team fight on the side of the map, you're gonna take some building damage on top of that as well. And so that Blink RP is gonna have to do a whole lot, but if WG, if they're ready for that, then they should also be able to position themselves in a way that doesn't really allow for at least the Winter Wyvern to be caught by that. And if X-Nova is not caught in the RP, he can counterplay it immediately. Now they're setting up down bottom here. Aframoosh again in the middle of that, ready to react to anything. 4 points up in the Tombstone at this point.
Blink RP mid.
Oh, that is. Get the Storm. Alright, that's also worthwhile. If you're only gonna get one, then get the Storm. What you want.
That happens so quickly as well.
Yeah.
Decent amount of money there for Lumic. Hand of Midas recipe done. They know they need to extend this game out, and that's going to be a great way to keep your Warlock, getting some form of gold, because he can't farm waves and he can't push out anywhere. And this tier 2 pressure from the Radiant team with the Blood Rage Pugna is a lot of damage into the tier 2. As they scan Roche to make sure, or try and make sure, that there is no one lurking around there, and they come back to defend it as well, but it's the tier 1 push top that Execration have set themselves up for.
Well, WG get Roche themselves? No, right?
Not particularly, no.
Without pickoffs beforehand.
They do have... they've got a regen rune and an Orchid on a Storm Spirit now, though. This could be killer.
It's gotta look for someone like Io up top. James does not have enough mana at all to deal with, so Pugna goes on him. Zip through. Rage Potato. Doesn't quite go for the relocate, just he's channeling it up now, and he'll bring James back. Not quite enough burst after all to bring either one of them down.
They did waste 2 big ultis there, though. Relocate and Chaotic Offering both popped. And they're going to lose Raging Potato here, more likely than not, with the zips forward.
Come on. Die, eventually. Pugna wants it for himself, that's why. Velo taking the kill. And speaking of these items, he does have that Kaya himself now. Ooh. Which, this makes actually sense, right? April Lens doesn't amplify stuff anymore. So you only get it from cast range. You're still super useful in the Pugna, but yeah, why not get the extra int and the amplification? The mana cost reduction and everything, so it's super useful for him too. Now we're gonna try and burst down Tusk, and they will be able to ferret enough enough fuel in the tank to make that happen. No one else makes Execration ready to react to that. Again, Warlock Golem, big one here if they want to take any sort of team fight alongside Burst Polarity at this point.
And Pugna has the new Meteor Hammer queued up as well. So we're going to see some big new items coming out of Pugna. So how are we settling on pronouncing what he has now? Kaya or Kaya?
Good question actually. Say Kaya, I guess.
Because yeah, okay, Kaya? Sure. We'll go with that. I don't know. I'm just going to call it the shiny blue sword for int heroes. Yeah. It's much shorter and easier. But no, the Chaos... Oh, yeah, that's... Tusk?
That Tusk, he's snowballing it up, Velo on the side, kind of dragging him away from the rest of Execration, but Raging Potato still linking up with him. The life drain, not gonna be enough actually. So R still alive. Jabami, he really wants a kill, and he's gonna get it. Courier in the middle of that too is ignoring it in favor of trying to go for Gabby, who's just trying to deal with the Undying. Relocate back out now. You know that he had that safe. Oh, James. Trying to go for the blink. Skewer under the tier 2.
Yeah, they have the RP ready as well, which is what the Radiant are so afraid of. But yeah, with this Meteor Hammer, you can do damage, even more damage to buildings.
Yeah. It is kind of underwhelming though, like especially for a hero like Pugna, I want to say, because he already has that ability. Essentially in Nether Blast, I think it's most useful in heroes that don't have that, like even on Bane. Like if you want to have that kind of a capacity from your supports, not just damage towers, but also get that wave clear on heroes that don't have it, you know?
Yeah, sure, you'll find extra added value on different heroes, but I still think that Pugna, with the skill set and item set that he has and goes for, with Nether Blast, but also the fact that, you know, Kaya and Ether Lens are both going to amp up this Meteor Hammer as well. Yeah. He's going to have Blast and this Meteor falling from the sky hitting towers. He can just solo bring down a tier 3 in, you know, a good couple of button presses. But we'll see how it works out for him. I just feel like this is WG kind of angling themselves for endgame as quickly as they possibly can, understanding that the PA is only going to get stronger. Desolator is up now, and they're waiting for this blink RP as James gets ready in position.
Shan gonna drop any second now, and James, yeah, they found him out. They start the blink from coming through. Tombstone already also used preemptively. Makes it so hard for Execration to actually get in on that. They need to find this though, right? They need to find a good RP somewhere. And I guess they can wait until the high ground defense, where WG is naturally more likely to just group up a little more for that. But at the same time, they've also shown that they don't really okay, bottom lane, over. Relocate in, but that is oh no! Oh no! Mistakes were made.
So yeah, that just happened. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Pharaoh just, you know, solo kills.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that WG then they're perfectly fine just taking a little bit slower and just finding these kind of advantages outside of just a straight up 5-man high ground push. They are fine just taking a minute or two to just push out all lanes first, get the TP. Oh god, Pharaoh! Did you see the damage here? There's the update finally. Onto only one, the Warlock. Golem with the follow-up here, so they get the Aegis, they get the Pugna. Can they get him a second time? Aframush sitting in the middle of that. The zombie is starting to stack up. Oh, Pharaoh drags back the Ayers. He just went for the tether, so Raging Potato will end up falling. And everyone else as well. Bloodseeker! What the hell happened there? He just died.
He just sprints into the back and, you know, slices people down. But that was a solo RP onto a Pugna. Storm zipped back in and got skewered, then loses Aegis as their like chaotic offering and all the other nonsense flies down and rains in from the skies of Execration. But with Execration now having all of their ultis on cooldown for a significant amount of time, it's still scary for the Radiant to push on forward unless this pick, oh, it works out perfectly. Pharaoh now, another one under his belt as he finds that kill on the Tusk. But they still can't break high ground here. Execration will be able to kind of reset, get their ultimates back up, you know, wait things out and get the BKB on the PA. Aegis is now gone, so the Radiant don't have that free or kind of, you know, easier access up onto high ground. But Pugna now has this Meteor Hammer. He's got the 3 items he needs and wants. There's a DD rune that spawned top. They just need a couple of pickoffs to be able to break this base of Execration, but they have to be key pickoffs. They can't just be, you know, a Tusk or a Warlock. It has to be one of the big heroes to try and force buybacks the next cycle, that they go in for another push.
Undying Aframush. He's also going back for for the Spirit Vessel again. Upgrade here. And one thing we haven't talked about yet in the last game in particular, up against the Necrophos, is that it also... It doesn't just do damage, it also limits your regen potential. So, particularly useful up against heroes like Necrophos, but might also be useful in this game here against people like Phantom Assassin, who's just gonna get gone on right now. Beautifully tanky now, Waiting Potato. Linking up with him. Still the life drain though, it's more than enough to relocate. Was coming in, so it wasn't gonna come back out for a couple of seconds. And I
mean, the PA was the pick they needed.
Yeah.
The two supports are like icing on the cake, or I guess the offlaner and the support. Tusk has become more of a like 3.5 role than a 3 this game, though. Unfortunately, you know, slipping back, you'd look at the net worth. The 3 bottom heroes are Tusk and IO very close together. Then as the Winter Wyvern, then as the Warlock at the bottom. Even the Wyvern and the Undying are up ahead of them.
Yep. Now here we are. Halo. Oh, we didn't talk about the Blood Rage also amplifying things. There it is. The Meteor Hammer being used. Gonna continue with some Nether Blast. Meanwhile, Pharaoh just going ham, chasing everyone back to the other side, back to the fountain, if you will.
Okay, dude, that tier 3, where did it go? Sorry?
It was there a second ago. I don't know, dude. Oh god, the snowball comes through. They want some revenge here. Bloodright's already down, and a help from X-Nova. Once again on the money. The Winter's Curse. The RP comes through in the back on 2 heroes. X-Nova and Velo, they might fall. But at the same time, the rest of WG is still going ham. Jabami in the middle with another Bloodright here. Catches Lumate. Nobody else is going to fall here. Never mind, this the partner just dies. Mass buybacks coming through. Still a huge victory for WG. Another snowball on Jabami. Well, looks like he'll finally fall, but Pharaoh's still in the middle of that. Not feeling scared at all, despite the lack of an Aegis. Finishing up the task. Now, looking to try and Manfred Gabby, but that's not really going to happen. Can he jump across? He can indeed. On to the Deny comes through. The Crapify making sure that that was not going to be a kill. Velo, he's
what's Velo
doing? And jiving. He's just he's successful.
He's out. He's out. They don't secure racks. They do secure a number of buybacks here from Execration. I believe the IO, the PA, and maybe one more. Let's see. Oh, it's the Pugner. The Pugner bought back, not on Dire team, but on the Radiant team. But they didn't get the melee racks. But it's still, you know, ultimates used. Execration losing out heavily, and they got the tier 3, which is still an important objective to take. Kind of flexing their muscles here a little bit as Pharaoh stacked up a couple of Bloodstone charges and then immediately lost them as he died with the ending of that team fight as the PA brought back and kind of cleared up. But I just want to go back and talk about that tier 3 for a second because it was on 80% HP, right? It was on like 1450 HP. They cast the meteor. What is the active called? It's just active is just called Meteor Hammer. So he hammers the tower with a meteor. He casts blast, and then he cast blast again, and the tower was gone. Like legitimately, it took 2 nether blasts and 1 chaos meteor just to destroy a tier 3, which is insane.
Yeah. So it's 8.5% spell damage just from intelligence, another 10% from the Kaya, whatever, plus the Blood Rage. So that's another what, 40%. Not sure if the Blood Rage actually translates onto items, but I think it should. Because I think it does work on Dagons and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, that is crazy. Crazy talk. Well, it's very effective nonetheless. And the next time they get up to the high ground, Execration doesn't fight them immediately. The same is going to happen to the racks. Because Nether Blast as well as the Meteor, the AoE works on both racks at the same time. Yeah, WG gonna try and make that happen right now. They're all smoked up in the top lane. Pharaoh is gonna show himself. He's the only one. Let's take a debate for now. Facts, Execration is the other side of the map entirely. WG doesn't necessarily know about that yet, though. Where do we go from here? Do we just wait for the next Roche? Because that's the other thing, there was a push without mages.
Yeah, it always feels like the safest option here with Aegis on your Storm and then Cheese on your Bloodseeker or your Pugner or something, just allowing them a little more free reign in team fights. What's the damage? How long until the big man's up? 18 seconds. Right, get someone in the pit. Go on, scout it out. WG, you should be ready for this. Let's go. Oh, I'd be so paranoid though about like a blink RP hitting us while we're in Roshan, but they'll be fine.
I left the one ward up on the high ground there, surely.
Oh, BKB PA. PA BKB is a big swing item. Execration smoke out of their base. They're looking for someone. X-Nova holds high ground in one area. Aframoosh holds a smoke popping position in another, and he will get the reveal on them. He'll lose his life for it, and this maybe opens Roshan up for Execration to just sweep in and take it.
We're seeing a time either. Top lane is being pressured by Velo, so I give up another tier 3 for it. Same time, Roshan is falling very, very quickly. They have to relocate available still if we want to account for that. Here in Jabami, yeah, it's just too late. Goes in the blood rights, not can hit anybody. Let's get Rupture off on the James, who's just keeping out in the middle of that. Top tower only down to half health, so great victory here for Execration.
So yeah, Pugna's not as insane without Blood Rage on him. It was the Blood Rage that just completely ruined that tier 3. He got his little meteor hammer and about 2 blasts on it.
Oh,
down
there
to
we
half
go.
HP.
BKB used. They're gonna go straight onto Jabami, bursting down. In the blink of an eye, the Winter's Curse not gonna work! Phantom Assassin just one-shots the Winter's Curse and the Winter Wyvern, and now Velo next on the list. That's the crop fight to keep himself alive. Gabby now out of BKB. So Pharaoh, he can control him up if he wants to. Same for Velo. They can start fighting as Gabby goes in deep, but Pharaoh is looking to try and get rid of the supporting cast first. And now Gabby left him for later. That's the Aegis down. Next on the list. No way out of this one. Oh, maybe there is. James coming through. Meteor Hammer also stuns up Gabby. Aframoosh still alive with the constant decrepifies on him. Gabby's just focusing on trying to bring him down. He eats the cheese on top of as well. This is the third life that he's on right now. He's still unable to find any more kills. Aframoosh, they see him with the link.
Is Gabby dying here?
Nice
jump away.
Okay, he survives still with Aegis and Cheese being used on him. Damn, that was some fancy footwork there from WG, keeping themselves alive for as long as they did. And killing everyone else inside of Execration.
I don't know why they relocated forward. I just don't understand why. They had such an advantage taking Roshan, getting Aegis, getting Cheese, bring down the tier 1, everything's gonna be fine. Oh, Radiant Courier just dies to chemo, cool.
Yeah, just
and they go for that one relocate play to catch the Pugna. And sure, if that Lumic, really? Oh, he's done it, he's juked him. So, you know, it's this huge risk-reward play, right? If you kill the Pugna, then you can go tier 1, tier 2, and maybe you pressure high ground, because Magnus was coming, Magnus was arriving. And that's probably what the call, or why the call was made, right? To go for that relocate play is go find another pick, Magnus will arrive and power the PA, we go push, we hit tier 3, we make another RP play and, you know, win the game, or try and get some massive advantage and foothold in this match. But the fact that it took so long to chase around the Pugna, WG reinforcements arrived, they filtered in one by one, and PA and IO just got chased around in circles. The IO could no longer tether the PA, lost Aegis and the Cheese, and the RP, sure, it looked fancy, but it came in too late and on 2 heroes that weren't necessarily massive threats to Execration. So it's all of this time and expenditure, and this Aegis Cheese was meant to be so glorious for you, and in the end it almost felt like it baited you into playing over aggressively as Execration. But you can still see the strength of their lineup being able to fight toe-to-toe with WG as long as they're the ones setting the terms of the engagement and they're the ones pressing forward, chasing with a PA, chasing with a Magnus, because that's what these heroes do best, is they chase, and like a, you know, PA is like the shepherd this game, right? Yeah, herding these little WG.Unity sheep into an area where they can get 4 or 5 man RP'd, and the PA is the one hero that they need to kill. And because of this BKB, she's difficult to kill, so you need to expend a lot to get in there. But if you don't have that chase and that kind of corralling people into an area, and you're the ones being shoved back, and Storm can zip onto your IO, and Bloodseeker can chase your Warlock and your Magnus, then things are complete opposite. It really is who can have the best vision and who can make the first foot forward is going to be able to get a good, strong position in these team fights.
Yeah, Try to be the ones here. RR on the front lines. The Tombstone is down. Meanwhile, Pharaoh finds the Warlock in the back. No Golem here in this point. Do they have any cancel for the... Yes, they do. X-Nova just pops the ultimate. So that's a bit of a long cooldown, but they don't quite have the creep waves so they want them to be anyway. So they... I know. Bite them in the ass here when there is this RP play coming out. Yeah, we need to scramble back to base now. It doesn't actually have a TP scroll, so... Linking up with James. And this is the play. This is where they need to show up.
Pugna actually holding on for that Meteor Hammer in a team fight potentially. You know, the little stun it gives.
Yeah.
Is,
Big shout out to Velo also.
Nice.
Oh, that is the RP whiffed completely! Pharaoh with the control. Gabby's still jumping in, but there it is. The Crapify, the Cold Embrace. Looking to try and go for After Image, but he's pretty tanky himself. Gets a bash on Bloodseeker. They get that kill, but what cost? Mikeli already down for the count. Pharaoh, they're gonna get that kill. Buybacks have to come out from plenty of heroes, and they do. But without that big ultimate, it's all down to Gabby to just get some crits, but the Crapify says no. You're not critting anybody here. Nice skewer there. Finds two. Jabami in the middle of that. Again, Cold Embrace. Pharaoh still has plenty of mana left in the tank to bring down Defensive Assassin second time. Maybe not. Here, a couple of right clicks, not enough. Do the evasion, but they finally burst him down. Not just him, but also the IO. Pharaoh so low on health, but it does. Oh, there it is. Soul actually catches him. But the damage is done. Diebacks on James, as well as Gabby. The rest of WG still very much alive and kicking. With Velo and Jabami in the middle, there's plenty of damage potential, not just against heroes, but also against buildings. They'll finish off the bottom racks, and they'll also be able to burn through mid racks, no problem whatsoever. RR, he's gonna do his best. Velo actually giving over life points to the Bloodseeker. That's
and buys back as well.
Fighting.
Come on, keep fighting.
Yeah.
Never give up. Never surrender.
This is an upper bracket, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so... That is... They really want to get Skull and Velo. They have a vendetta, but with Pharaoh coming back into the fray, the GG is called. Execration drop 2-1. Up against Warriors Gaming Unity. What a game.
Probably the scrappiest, messiest series I've seen in a long while. Fun, like on very fun drafts though. Very fun drafts. Captain's draft does allow for that, but you could definitely see the kind of, you know, aggression versus aggression of these two Southeast Asian teams just butting heads non-stop for a good 20-25 minutes in the game until something breaks. Something always has to break, and in this case, it was Execration, as they will drop down, unfortunately for them, but. WG, I felt from the start that they were probably slightly favored with their previous results in kind of normal captain's mode. I feel that they're maybe the slightly more polished team as well in overall execution, but their 4-role player Afromush just brings this team together so nicely. I do love what he brings to the table, and they'll find themselves moving on to play up against Happy Feet.
Yeah. Right now, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
It's going to be another fun